Hello, and welcome to the By Steve Rowe podcast, a photography podcast that also looks at social media and travel. And today we're not going to be editing any photos. I've just not had any time recently to actually get some photos. And if you've been following my recent Instagram post, I have been feeling a little bit burnt out to be going out 3 times a week, so the content just isn't there. Thankfully, when I was going on a mad one and shooting 3 times a week for a month, I've got a lot of backed up content, so I'm going to be all right for photos. And then this week, I actually just don't have any time to shoot because this week I've got my birthday on Thursday, turning 26. I've just left that young adult category, right? What's that, like 18 to 25? And I'm leaving it this week. Now I'm in the 26 to, what would it be? 26 to 35 category. Oh, it's all downhill from here. The back's gonna start going. My knees are already going. When I like bend down to do a shoot or like crouch to do a shoot, and like I feel it in my knees. It's from football. Like all the years of playing football, I've had dodgy knees. If I made professional, I would have definitely been that player that was always injured. Anyway, so yeah, got my birthday this week, and then I'm going to an island called Gapyeong, which is I don't think it's going to have any cyberpunk aesthetics going on there. It's very much a countryside place, but we'll see. I'll take my camera just in case, and perhaps I'll be able to even get some decent shots of some countryside stuff, but we'll see. So that is this week. It's just going to be completely audio, but we've got some interesting stuff to talk about. I am going to be booking my next trip, which I'm just juggling at the minute. I'm going to be going at the end of July, first week of August. It's all confirmed now, and I'm very excited. But right now it's a toss-up between Tokyo, because obviously it's Tokyo that's known so much for all of its cyberpunk aesthetics. But I'm also considering Macau, which isn't the easiest place to get to. I think you have to take a flight to Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong you have to take a ferry. But Macau has some awesome stuff going on, and it's pretty untreaded territory. Is that right? So it's a toss-up at the minute. We'll see. But obviously Tokyo, if I was to go to Tokyo, like the amount of like good reception I'd get from photos, because it doesn't matter what you do in Japan, it's Japan, and Japan just gets all of the praise. I think it is like such a beautiful country, and I absolutely loved my time there when I went last year. But I was only just getting into photography, so there wasn't that many like cyberpunky shots that I actually took. So yeah, we'll see. Oh my god, it's going to be so hot. The humidity levels out there in first week of August, jeez, I don't do well in the heat. We'll see. It's a good job I only shoot at night. It'll be a little bit cooler. So yeah, that's planned for this, going into July. And then I'm also going to actually try and start doing like more real short trips just for the weekend, like just a quick weekend trip to Hong Kong. Like go really early morning and then get back Monday morning. That's like my new idea, because if I keep doing that, like just keeps, like a real fresh content coming in regularly, because right now I'm actually struggling to find decent spots in Seoul that I've not been to yet. So I'm just waiting for monsoon season in Seoul. It'll be coming July time as well. I'm very excited for that. Rain almost every day, and I'll be out almost every day myself. It's funny because Koreans are going to be like hating the weather, and there's me just loving it, waiting for more rain and humidity. So anyway, what I want to do, get into the podcast. First thing I want to talk about is your guys' feedback on what to do when you're in a rut or feeling burnt out, because a lot of people really gave some amazing feedback, and it actually really helped me, and it will be good to share that with everyone. So yeah, like I said, I've been feeling it like I've been in a rut. Well, a rut is more like you can't take any like good photos, right? But burnt out is more of the feeling that I've been having, because I went and got that shot last weekend that got like over 8,000 likes or whatever, and that So it's not like being in a rut that I can't get any good content. It's just that I can't be bothered to go get that content at the minute. It might have been the change in weather, because it's like all of a sudden got really hot, and I'm an England boy, and we struggle with temperatures over 10 degrees, and right now it's like hitting 30, and soon it's going to be in the high 30s, and we'll see what happens with that. So that might be partly the reason, but we'll see what happens. I'm actually feeling a lot better, well rested. So, but let me share this. Let me share some of this stuff. So, AnonCam _ gave a really good little tip. He said, I change up cameras when I'm feeling burnt out or bored. One summer I shot only with my phone. Sometimes I just pull out the film camera. So that's a really good little tip there. Just change up your equipment and you're going to have some fun with that. I myself just spent a lot of money on a Sony. So I don't want to be ditching it straight away. But yeah, that's more if you're in a rut. So if you're feeling like you're not getting any good stuff with the equipment that you're using, go ahead and change up your equipment, and that will just like enable you to start seeing things from a different angle, or using your equipment differently, which will in turn create different results, and you might be very happy and pleased with the results that you're getting. So that's definitely a good tip. Shout out there to AnonCam _ I find a lot of these handles really hard to pronounce. Going on, I keep clicking off it. Here we go. Right. Actually, I've not read this one yet, so let's read it together. Rooks Ben _ That's a good question. I usually just sleep, and after that I try to force myself to snap out of it, most forcibly by straight up copying some art via a study to kickstart my creative thinking. So the warm up of dreaming, or at least sleeping and creating art on training wheels, tends to at least get something going. It also helps doing something completely unrelated, which lets your mind work on your obstacles subconsciously. Eating, showering, taking a walk, watching YouTube, stuff like that is great for signaling your mind to put problems on background mode and to open up to creating and accepting non-immediately apparent solutions. Hope that helps. That's awesome. That's really good. And I really agree with copying someone's work. So there's a really good book called Steal Like an Artist, and I can't remember the author's name, but it's a super short book, but it's like got loads of awesome graphical materials inside that you can use, and it just talks about how like no art is original anymore, but how if you're in a creative rut, to just go ahead and just copy someone's work, because you can learn so much from doing it. And then of course, don't just like straight up copy and then just like put it out. But what you're supposed to do is go ahead and try and imitate someone's work, but then like keep working on it and keep working on it, and then eventually it becomes your own work, and really you were just using an influence. Because every artist, whether it be photography, drawing, singing, whatever, you are influenced by someone, and what the notion of Steal Like an Artist is that our influences, we are just copying our influences work, but you are making it your own thing. So yeah, that definitely gets you out of a rut. Definitely do that. That's a good shout. And then just doing other stuff, just taking your mind off things, watching YouTube, lots of good stuff on YouTube to learn. I recently have been watching a lot of documentaries about the most original of street photographers way back in the day. They were only using like black and white film, and some of the results that they were getting, and how they went through hard times and how they got out of it, and it was just really inspiring to do that. So definitely hit up YouTube, because there's so much good stuff on there that isn't just cats and dogs chasing cats and all that. What else is that? Here we go, Velveteen Reaction. It's odd, isn't it? I feel a bit like that at the moment, super critical of anything I do, to the point that I'm not really shooting as much as I should be. I think the trick is not to force it. Be kind to yourself rather than pushing harder. Maybe try a different perspective. Look at other people's work you admire, or even films. The connection between narrative and image is very strong. Maybe a good flick might inspire you to craft stories again. So yeah, and this one was really awesome, because I totally totally agree with just giving yourself a rest. That's what I've just been doing, just resting, playing too much PlayStation, but still, just having a rest. And yeah, looking at other art is always awesome, and looking at different media is also very good. So like I could just keep looking at photos and photos and photos, but how about you just put on a really visually stunning looking film? Anything by Nicholas Winding Refn, the guy who made Drive. Like I love the way the art direction of his films, because it's always neon driven, but it's also very dark and moody. So you've got Drive, you've got Neon Demon, you've got Only God Forgives, and then Valhalla Rising, which was set hundreds and hundreds of years ago, so there's no neon on that one, but still visually it is very stunning and very creative and experimental. I'm pretty sure everyone's watched Drive. It's one of those cult classics, right? If you've not, go ahead, check it out. Chang Hyvn. So this is a guy that's actually just come over to Korea for a month, I think, studying. We're going to go shoot together soon. And he has an awesome shot that is shared up on my new Instagram page, Cyberpunk Soul. Go check that out if you haven't already, at Cyberpunk Soul. It's a Facebook page that me and a guy who runs Jeju Digital Music label run together. The Facebook page has been going for quite a few months now, but we've got the Instagram. It's just taken off. Chang Hyvn says, I think it just takes time. It was a combination of school and stress, and it took me 3 months to recover. I think not forcing it and letting it come back to you is important. Yeah, totally agree with that. The only problem is I just don't want to let it, take too long, because if it takes too long and then, you're out of it, and the way the world works now is like you could be old news if you didn't do it anything for a month, You got unfortunately, if you do want to be real successful, you do have to make sure you don't take too much time off. You got to keep going and keep pushing, but also remember to give yourself a break and just be kind to yourself. Harrison Grant Photography. I get in ruts all the time. If you're in the same environment, bridging the creativity when you burn out feels like I'm just burning myself, and it's better to stop and wait a couple of days. Yeah, that's a good point. Being in the same environment is actually one thing that I have been thinking about recently. Like, I've pretty much done, so I'm living in Incheon at the minute, and I've been all the places that I know of in Incheon. I've been all the places in the west side of Seoul. Now I've got to go to the east side of Seoul, which takes nearly 2 hours to get there. So right now, that's one thing playing on my mind, that I can't just simply go straight after work, because if I go straight after work, I probably can only get 30 minutes of shooting in before I got to take the last train home. And then, you're getting back at 1 in the morning. That is a good thing. So that's why I'm super excited for Japan, because I think going to Japan and having a lot of fun there shooting and then coming back, I think I'm going to be seeing Seoul in a whole different light. Who knows? Let's see. There was a really good one. Hello, I'm Nick _ never force it. It's something I've tried to ensure. I've spent time in and out of real life and game photography, and if you're tired, it comes across in your work. Take some time for yourself and refresh your brain. Yeah, that's super good advice. Just if you're tired and you're not doing anything with 100% effort, it really is going to come up in your work. It's going to come off in the way you're writing. It's going to come off in the way you're shooting and just putting out mediocre content. That is definitely some great advice. I'm trying to find the Frappanisa. I'm sorry if I'm butchering all these names, which I definitely am. Pick up a running routine. I don't do it, but many artists swear by this technique as their anti-burnout method. So yeah, running is super good. Just exercise in general. I go gym every morning, and recently I've found that the feeling of staying in bed and not going to the gym is way worse than going to the gym tired and managing to push a workout out. So yeah, because exercise, it's known it releases those dopamines and endorphins and, you know, whatever, like all that good stuff, all those good chemicals in your brain, it releases them. And so whatever exercise technique you do, just the fact that you're going out and you're accomplishing something, it releases those good chemicals, and you come back feeling completely refreshed, like way more energized as well. If I like stay in bed and say, no, I'm not going to gym today, it feels like I just feel so lazy and tired for the whole day now. Whereas if I'm tired but then go to the gym, I come back, I'm re-energized, I feel super focused. It's really good. And also, you know, I play football every week, and that's another good way to just, you know, burn out that stress, or, well, not really stress, but just to burn out any sort of cloud in the mind, you know. So definitely get exercise and change up your routine. It's one of the best things you could do. So that's those were my favorite comments for let's just do this last one because I've not read this one yet. Cool Kid Insight. You know what it is? It's because there's no space bar. Like, there's no spaces between each word. So I'm reading like a 5-year-old. A shower and a nice nap doesn't hurt, but I'm more likely to do things I want to do least and work my way up that list. Sometimes you got to force motivation and creativity. Yeah, that's a good thing. Make some lists of things you need to do. Just work it off. And again, that feeling of accomplishing something releases those good chemicals, and then you're like well on the way to getting back on the road. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. All of those were awesome, and definitely helped me. I'm feeling a lot better this week. What I really want to do, I have a photography website called framesco.com, and it's been really hard to run on my own, but I really want to, because it's there's such a good amount of content on there, because I really worked hard at it at the start, and now I've like let it drop off, and I'm feeling a bit mad at myself that I was doing so much work, putting so much work into something, and now barely doing anything. So I definitely want to get that back up and running, and that's something that my time off has allowed me to think of different ways that I can make that job easier for myself, because, you know, doing everything that I do, photography, also my job, and then to try and run a photography website as well, it's a lot of work. There's not enough hours in the day, unfortunately, but you know, building up a routine and a schedule should enable me some time to actually get some stuff done for that. And also, I've got a really good article coming out on medium.com. I've really worked hard at this one. So last week, the podcast was all about confidence in street photography, and I got a lot of good reception about it, you know, and it really was a good podcast. Like, I really enjoyed doing it. And so, as I said, I wrote up everything into a Medium article, except I've actually done more now. So before I was saying that I was researching the original street photographers, the legends in street photography. Well, now I've actually gone and put all of that into a Medium article as well, and the things that I found whilst researching, some awesome quotes, some awesome photos to look at. So that's going to come out. I'm hopefully going to finish that today. It's got a lot of time today, so hopefully going to finish that today, get that out, and also get this podcast out. Super productive day. Unfortunately, just not going to have any time to shoot as well. So that's whatever, you know. We'll get the photos, and I got enough content backed up. Now, one last thing I want to talk about is your Instagram engagement plummeting, because a lot of people's are. Mine is. My friend Jack Anstey, who has over 30,000 followers, his engagement's dropped below average. There's Noe, another cyberpunk soul photographer. His engagement is dropping. So don't worry. That was another thing actually, was like getting me down, like, oh, my photos aren't getting nearly enough likes like they used to. Because, you know, there was a period where my engagement was super high. Like, a lot of photos were getting over 2,000 likes. And then recently I've been struggling to get at least 10%. And, you know, it creeps over, but God, it's like last minute. So the whole 10% thing is, if you want to be considered as an influencer and considered to have a good Instagram account, your engagement, the likes on your photos, needs to be 10% of that of your followers. So if I've got 14,600 followers now, I should at least be getting 1,460 likes at least on each photo. But you should then strive to get more to, you know, have a better account. Yeah, but a lot of people have been struggling. One thing that I didn't notice, because I think it happened whilst I was asleep, it happened overnight. Instagram crashed for 3 hours, and my friend said since then the engagement has just been terrible. I don't know what it is. Also, the World Cup. A lot of people are real preoccupied with that at the minute, including myself. Like I nearly watched England versus Tunisia at 3 a.m. I set my alarm, it went off, and then I was like, nah, I don't want to, and then just fell asleep. So that didn't work out. But a lot of people preoccupied with the World Cup, so your upload time now might have to be reconsidered, because a lot of people are going to be in the pubs drinking during the game and after the game. So yeah, reconsider your upload times. What else is it? Oh, so how to up your engagement. So one thing that you can do is always post a question on your photo. A photo with a lot of content. Oh God, a photo with a lot of comments. There we go. Is always going to be higher in the feed and then receive more engagement. The reason is Instagram sees that there's a conversation going on your photos, and so they think, oh, your post, it's got some relevant stuff, it's good for the community. They're going to put that up in the feed. So always post a question that creates a discussion. Another thing that you can do is post regularly to your Instagram story. Now, this one isn't confirmed, but I do feel like this actually works. So I try and post to my Instagram story quite regularly, like nearly once an hour, and I just do it with a lot of B-roll stuff. So stuff that looks good, but it's not worthy to go up on my Instagram feed. And then sometimes I'll also put up old photos. I'll also put them into my Instagram story. Links to other people's work. Just stupid stuff like videos of cats, which I did at the weekend. We're all guilty. So that's something else you could do. You just got to be really active on Instagram, and then that comes through into the activity and engagement for your post. So consider that. But yeah, I think it really is, it's down for everyone at the minute. So don't worry if your content isn't getting near enough engagement. It's affected everybody, whatever it is. Maybe the algorithm changed again. So anyway, that's the podcast. Keep this one short and sweet. I'll be back next week, hopefully with some photos for you to watch me edit. I might go back and edit some classic shots if I've not got any content. All right, and then I'll catch you next week when I'll be 1 year old or 26. All right, goodbye.